Welcome to product training for Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi. I'm Mark Davis, Senior Director of Product Marketing at Ruckus Wireless, and I'll be joined in this presentation by Mr. Fal Nanda, Director of Product Management at Ruckus Wireless. Together, we'll present the product overview for Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi. The objectives of today's training session include identifying the needs that Cloud Wi-Fi addresses, understanding the value proposition for Cloud Wi-Fi, also understanding the benefits of Cloud Wi-Fi for end user customers, understanding the key features and benefits associated with Cloud Wi-Fi. Finally, how Cloud Wi-Fi fits within the overall Ruckus product and specifically the Ruckus controller portfolio, and then Cloud Wi-Fi SKUs and pricing. Let's start by dividing the world into two types of IT organization. We'll call those lean IT and muscular IT. Muscular IT is an organization that has lots of people, lots of capability, and lots of expertise. These teams are well trained, often carrying multiple certifications, and many of whom are experts within networking and wireless networking. A lean IT organization, on the other hand, is one that has a lesser degree of training, a lesser degree of certifications, and in some cases may consist of very few dedicated people or even no dedicated people for IT. So let's keep these two types of organizations in mind as we proceed through the slides. These are some of the challenges that the lean IT organization faces. The first is user complaints about poor Wi-Fi experience. Now, these users could be employees of the organization, these users could be students within a school environment, or these users might be actual end customers within, for example, a retail environment. The second challenge is the time-consuming nature of traditional wireless LAN administration based upon traditional controller architectures. A related challenge is that of expertise-demanding wireless LAN administration. In other words, the need for employees and IT departments to take training, to pass certification tests, and so forth. Another challenge has to do with multiple sites, that is, 2 or more sites. In these cases, the challenges above are further exacerbated by the complexity and incremental time-consuming nature of multi-site deployments. That shows up in the form of multiple locations and consoles, which itself requires management overhead that the lean IT organization may not be prepared to accommodate. And finally, there's the universal challenge of updates and upgrades and the difficulty and administration associated just with that process. So now that we understand the challenges facing the lean IT organization, let's return to our model of the lean IT and muscular IT departments. With regards to wireless LAN and the capabilities of a wireless LAN, the muscular IT organization is more likely to want and more able and capable to exercise a high degree of granular control over their wireless LAN network. On the other hand, the lean IT organization, because of the time and experience and perhaps expertise challenges they face, typically want something much more simple, much more intuitive, that would allow any employee within this organization to competently and easily manage the wireless LAN. This group, the lean IT organization, is the intended customer set, that is, the organizations that are most likely to benefit from Cloud Wi-Fi. If we think back to those challenges faced by lean IT, it's easy to think about what the ideal wireless LAN would look like. And what it would look like, first and foremost, would be perfect Wi-Fi all the time. Wi-Fi that could be expected to deliver a wonderful user experience regardless of circumstances. That is, regardless of the number of users, regardless of the physical environment, and regardless of the radio frequency interference environment. The second point would be the ideal wireless LAN would allow any individual within this lean IT organization, or any organization for that matter, to be able to manage the wireless LAN without experience, without the need for extensive training. Third, with regards to scaling, it would be just as easy for this organization to deploy AP number 10, AP number 100, or AP number 1000 just as easily as they deployed the first AP. And finally, in the ideal world, an organization would have the opportunity to change their mind, to migrate to a different controller architecture if they felt it were appropriate for their business. In that case, naturally, they would want to keep their APs, that is, maintain their current investment, and use it in the context of a new controller architecture. Of course, that's the ideal world. In practice, this is actually quite difficult to do, and there are a number of reasons for this. With regards to Wi-Fi, one of the fundamental challenges is that radio frequency is unpredictable and non-deterministic. Many people refer to it as black magic. Secondly, networks and wireless LANs in particular are complex. In order for something to be simple and intuitive, one needs to hide that complexity. Doing so is an art in itself. With regards to scalability, the idea and the ability for a lean IT organization to deploy the 10th, 100th, or 1000th AP as easily as the first requires a cloud scale architecture. That architecture typically requires a clean slate. And finally, in order to reuse access points and take them from one controller architecture to another, requires first that the vendor building the wireless LAN has more than one architecture, and secondly, it requires an adaptable AP, one that can easily move from one controller type to the next. There are a number of other cloud-managed wireless LAN vendors in the market. Three in particular we'll discuss are Cisco Meraki, Aerohive Networks, and Aruba. Each of these vendors has attempted to take on the challenges described, and although each has their strengths, they also suffer from at least one critical weakness that makes them non-ideal for the lean IT customer we've described. Let's start with Cisco Meraki. In this case, Cisco has a high-featured platform, however, it suffers from underperforming RF. What we mean by underperforming RF, quite simply, is that more access points are required to cover a given area or a given number of users. A second critical weakness associated with the Cisco Meraki platform is that it is a cloud-only platform, and what that means is if a customer chooses to move to a different controller architecture, they have no option to do so, and the APs that they have purchased associated with their cloud deployment can no longer be used, and their investment is lost. Aerohive is also a high-featured platform that's extraordinarily complex and not designed for the lean IT department. Aerohive, too, suffers from underperforming RF and all of the implications that has for the number of access points required and the associated amount of spending required to deploy such a network. Aerohive is also missing critical capabilities, most notably the presence of a mobile app. And finally, Aruba, and specifically the Aruba Central product, is a relatively feature-light, cloud-managed wireless LAN product with highly constrained scale and average performing RF. Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi, in contrast, addresses each of these ideal criteria. There are 4 pillars of the Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi offer. The first pillar is great RF and great Wi-Fi. The second pillar is scalability. That is the ability that we spoke about before of being able to deploy AP number 1000 just as easily as AP number 1. The third pillar is intuitiveness. The idea of intuitiveness is that the lean IT organization needs something simple to allow them to manage effectively without too much time, without too much training. Even more, they need something that's intuitive, that allows the new user to easily grasp how to manage the wireless LAN effectively. And the fourth pillar, which we've just spoken about, is investment protection. Investment protection in the form of access points that can be reused with any controller architecture a customer may decide to migrate to. These 4 pillars are not offered by any other cloud-managed wireless LAN product. These 4 pillars describe the essence of Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi. And Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi is powered by the Ruckus Cloud. This is Ruckus's own public cloud platform that makes possible the Cloud Wi-Fi wireless LAN management as a service. Now that we understand the 4 pillars of Cloud Wi-Fi, the value proposition follows naturally. Cloud Wi-Fi is what we call wireless LAN management as a service, and as described, its value is for, in particular, those lean IT organizations with limited IT resources, and it gives them the ability to set up, to manage, to monitor, and scale over dozens or more sites a high-performance multi-site wireless LAN critically without compromising on Wi-Fi performance. The offer itself consists of 2 parts. The first part is the access points. In this regard, Cloud Wi-Fi is no different than any other Ruckus controller architecture. That is, customers purchase access points and deploy them in the same way they would with any other architecture. For Cloud Wi-Fi, the access points we're using at launch are the Unleashed R310, the Unleashed R500, the Unleashed R600, the Unleashed R710, and an outdoor access point, the Unleashed T300. All of these access points are 802.11 AC APs. In fact, the Unleashed R710 is an 802.11 AC Wave 2 AP. In addition to the access points, customers purchase a subscription, and this subscription, 1 per access point, is a management license for each AP. And with that license, the customer receives reporting and analytics at no additional charge, and 24/7 chat, phone, and web support. So with the purchase of an AP and the purchase of a subscription to go with that AP, the end customer has everything required to manage their own wireless LAN network. Let's summarize the top benefits associated with Cloud Wi-Fi. First, consistent with the pillar of great Wi-Fi and RF, user experience is at the top of the list. That is, users, be they customers, be they employees, be they students, enjoy a consistently great Wi-Fi experience regardless of circumstances. This is what we call better Wi-Fi. Second, simplicity. The idea of having an intuitive and what we call intent-driven user interface dramatically reduces wireless LAN deployment, especially in multi-site scenarios, and dramatically reduces the management complexity associated with those deployments. Next, speed. With Cloud Wi-Fi, organizations can deploy and expand wireless LANs incredibly quickly, achieving faster time to deployment, faster time to value. Scale. The fact that this is a public cloud-based platform with true cloud scale, it means that no matter how many sites an organization needs to expand to, Cloud Wi-Fi can support that, all through a single user interface. Finally, investment protection. The ability to reuse APs with any other Ruckus controller architecture means that the end customer has the peace of mind to know that should they change their mind and choose a different alternative or a different path in the future, they can keep their investment and take their APs with them.
My name is Fal Nanda. I'm Director of Product Management at Ruckus Wireless. Let's spend some time walking into the product's feature sets, going a little bit deeper in that area. The concept with Ruckus Cloud Solution will bring up a few new components in the mix. It's important to understand what they are. One of them is Ruckus Wireless now operates the hosted solution. So the NOC Center, which is a new component in the company, is now monitoring 24/7, guaranteeing SLA for the end customer and managing the network. The functions of a customer and a Ruckus partner, which helps the customer, is to configure and manage the network that is operated upon by Ruckus Wireless NOC team. The access points are of course at the customer premise, so the configuration elements, the UI, the mobile app-based solution that engages with the hosted software is a job that the customer and the partners do. So it's important to understand the roles in both of these cases and who you need to contact in case of any questions and support, configuration, and other elements. One of the concepts that we would like to bring up in front of you is that you as an end customer now have a built-in flow in our UI to invite a Ruckus partner of your choice to manage the network for you. It's a very smooth built-in feature or flow that allows you to click a few buttons on the UI and select the partner of your choice by inputting their email address, as simple as that, and the invitation goes to the partner, and when the partner comes back and logs into the same Ruckus Cloud portal, cloud.ruckuswireless.com, they will be able to see the customers that have invited them to manage their network. And they can do the same whether it's on a UI, on the web, or even on the same Ruckus Cloud mobile app, which will be available to them on their phone. In effect, a customer's network can be managed by the Ruckus partner that the customer has invited, whether they're in their office or they're actually in a faraway place. They will have access to your network to help you through it. We'll just walk through the feature highlights of Ruckus Cloud Solution. So next few slides will focus on the different aspects. One of the first ones that we want to highlight is it's the same access points that you're used to from Ruckus Wireless, which have 10 plus years of technology innovation built into those access points. Lots of patents that have gone in terms of RF, in terms of interference mitigation, in terms of high density deployments. Those all access points, even if when they're cloud managed, continue to exercise and benefit from those feature sets. Smartcast, mesh technology, they're all there day one when Ruckus Cloud is released and available to you. The innovation we are adding in the Ruckus Cloud is also with a very new user interface called Intent Driven UI. And here you will see a very simple dashboard. At the get-go, you'll feel like there are a few knobs in there, but the way it's designed, it's that only when you want to configure something that's more complicated than it needs to be on the first dashboard, you will actually see the flow in a workflow-driven way. For example, when you want to create a WLAN for guest type, where you want to introduce Facebook Wi-Fi as a login option, Facebook authentication as a login option, you would then see the complexity 3 levels down. It's not available on the front screen to keep the dashboard simple. Of course, we'll be innovating on the dashboard by adding more widgets in there. It's a very simple dashboard right now, providing the venues that you will be seeing and monitoring and managing. Guest services from our 1.0 release is going to provide lots of flexibility for the SMB customer segment to have a way to even monetize their Wi-Fi by having a captive portal that's highly customizable, having an option to introduce features onto the captive portal on the fly. And you will see some of our innovations in a couple of slides forward there. We are taking pride in our built-in analytics solution that actually is a big data backend supported with front-end reporting structure. This allows us to give you granular data recording for 6 months, sometime even longer. Initially, we are allowing up to 6 months of data viewing to our customers at 15-minute granularity, retained throughout the 6 months. So you would not see any aggregation of data as you go down the path to month 3 or month 4. We are rolling out a very comprehensive and unique mobile app solution with Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi. Application visibility is also built in day one, and we have DPI built into every one of our access points. You will see multi-thousand application recognition with our app, including the complicated encrypted solutions such as Skype and other applications. Not to forget about some of the other key components of a WLAN configuration is to have flexibility in the choices of WLANs or SSIDs that a customer can configure, whether they're private WLANs, encrypted, or open guest access, or even sponsored guests. So now, switching quickly into our great Wi-Fi, we take great pride in providing our RF solutions that are highly efficient in terms of avoiding interference. This is where we have patents on. We are highly successful in high density deployments, whether you talk about stadiums or common areas in classrooms, in schools. do not consider that high density is something that is only a challenge in real stadiums, but we've seen cafeterias in K through 12 districts where kids come in at 12 o'clock and they bring in some of their homework or schoolwork with them to discuss with their friends while having food. And that is a very classic high density deployment. So our access points, if deployed throughout the campus, benefit tremendously from it. So the benefits that come with the APs, whether they're BeamFlex, BeamFlex Plus, multi-user MIMO with 11SE Wave 2, Ruckus Cloud 1.0 will support all those access points day one. Recently, we had a test done at CARNET, independent testing center that wanted to evaluate all the Wi-Fi vendors for the best and highest performing access points, and they wanted to do a high density deployment test because they realized that in many cases, even though you put an access point per classroom, you can expect the AP to handle the next class's kids in case something happens in the network. And so they pegged 60 clients connected to 11AC access points, and in their test you can see the Ruckus R700 11AC 3x3 and R500 2x2 APs outperform every other AP vendor by having the highest performing and throughput solution, even at extreme loads of 60 clients all connected and streaming. Switching to the dashboard on our Cloud UI platform, I would like to walk you through this UI to give you a quick context of how this is laid out. In this case, you can see a quick view of the network's key elements. Alarms is one of the first things that the IT manager would like to see on the dashboard, and they show up color-coded in terms of the severity of the alarm. And there is an arrow that will drop down to show the alarms that are red followed by yellow, and an administrator can take action on the alarms. The next widget, venues, is a concept that we have built into our UI as one of the fundamental elements. A venue is a physical construct, an area, a site, a building, a floor, which you would like to associate access points to. So when you are installing access points, you choose a venue, you create a venue, you give it an address, a physical address, so you can drop that venue onto the map, and you add access points to it. You add WLANs into that venue, so that means all the access points in that venue advertise that WLAN. You make changes to the RF parameters of that venue, and that will apply to all the access points in that venue. Think of a concept if you're used to controller-based solutions of AP groups. This can loosely tie to that. All the APs in that venue provide seamless roaming for the clients, so they stay connected. So that's your roaming domain, so to speak. So there is an aggregation of information on a per venue basis, and in this dashboard you will see teardrops. And those teardrops can also be color-coded if those venues are experiencing any difficulty. The size of the venues are related to the number of access points configured on that venue. So the larger venues will actually have bigger teardrops. So you'll start to see the sense that we provide there in terms of venues. So the access points, and the next widget on the dashboard is total access points across all the venues, and they're also color-coded in terms of their alarm levels, and then total clients connected, and the graphs at the bottom that we'll be adding more and more with subsequent releases in the cloud, and we intend to release software every 6 to 8 weeks. You'll actually see lots of graphs appearing from traffic consumption to application visibility and such. On the left side, the main flow, on the top left, there is a quick search that provides global search across all the sites, and you can do a partial search also and be able to search APs, venues, WLANs, and the clients. I just want to bring out a couple of examples on the guest access side. We have a very comprehensive and rich visitor connectivity guest portal solution that is included in the cloud subscription that allows you to configure logging in through a SMS-based authentication, or you may like to enable social network login to allow your guests to connect to the Wi-Fi. And then you can make changes to the captive portal to be more interactive with your visitors. Whether you're changing the logo, changing some banners through new graphics being loaded, or simple text messages, so providing advertisements that you would like to change often. Very simple. We also have added an innovative trial application on the mobile app to scan a business card of a guest to generate passcode that can be emailed or texted to that user based on what's on the business card. Then we have a dedicated dashboard and an admin role for guest admin that you can log in, and as a front desk admin you'll only see guest lists to create or generate guest passes or make changes to the guest list in terms of expiry extensions of timelines, how many devices they can access. So a very dedicated guest admin role for that segment. Now let's talk a little bit about our innovative and modern mobile app solution to carry your network with you. We have found that one of the best methods to explain the simplicity of a solution is by making it available on your mobile phone, so you can operate your Wi-Fi network, whether you are an SMB or a large school district or a multi-hundreds of site enterprise customer, to be able to use simple mobile app to monitor, manage your network. In most cases, the mobile app, we designed it for a use case where the user has only a couple of minutes to react to certain needs, create something quick, or make a change happen then and there. That's the main intention of a mobile app use case. We don't expect a user on the mobile app to spend humongous amounts of resource and time consuming the phone's battery, for example, to look at monitoring traffic across all sites. I think the web user interface is ideally suited for those data consumption models, but mobile app is about interaction, taking an action, doing something, reacting to something as needed. So to give an example, we have a couple of screenshots here of our mobile app, and it's a native mobile app. It's not a web UI stretched or squeezed into a responsive design into the phone. It is actually a native mobile app. We have one for iOS and Android, and you can provision an SSID pretty quickly from the mobile app, and you can do it on a per site basis or apply to multiple sites. You can add access points by scanning the AP serial numbers through the mobile app. We think we can utilize the phone's built-in sensors and features, for example, the camera, to be able to do these kind of services. We have taken the care of simplicity, so we have labeled some of our SSIDs as guest Wi-Fi or employee Wi-Fi. Employee essentially means a secure mode of Wi-Fi service, and if you checkbox those, it will walk you through 3 or 4 steps to create them. One of the actions in a SSID creation is the scheduling of the SSID. For example, you want it to be on all the time, or in case of guest Wi-Fi, you may want to have some control over the times when the SSID is advertised, and you can do that simply by pressing your thumb onto the screen and dragging it to be able to select the hours where you want your SSID to be on. And then you can monitor your network at any time of not just of your employee SSID, but more importantly for a guest Wi-Fi management experience. If you enable a feature available in our UI that you have free Wi-Fi time for the guests, let's say 1 or 2 hours, and then you want to block them off for the rest of the day, or block them off for 4 or 5 hours so they can come back later, those recently blocked users will appear on the screen as blocked users, and you'll be able to go on the mobile app and see who they are and unblock them if you like it. So that's another feature that we are providing through a mobile app. Here is an example of how you can create a guest Wi-Fi in a few clicks and steps, from entering the passphrase or schedule all the way to creating the guest portal from the mobile app itself. So you name your guest Wi-Fi. This is what the name that will be advertised. You can create a schedule for the SSID. You can set up free time versus block time for that guest Wi-Fi. And then in the last part, you can actually create a complete captive portal using your mobile phone, using a few thumbprints. And you can generate logo for your solution. You can put banners. You can put textual information to make the guest portal not just to create it one time, but as I will show in the next slide, that you can continue to enhance your guest portal on an hourly basis if you like, to want to interact with your Wi-Fi users, to insert ads and information to them that they might find it useful. So here we will give an example of an application visibility report that you can use to quickly drill down on who is using the bandwidth question that comes up so often. In this case, we're talking about some user complaining about upload traffic being slow. That means posting my photos taking longer time than normal. The way to go filter this out quickly using our application visibility report built into the Cloud UI is looking at application visibility for traffic. You will get a default view of 24 hours history. You can go back up to 6 months to look at the same report for that long a duration to get longer trends and analysis. But for now, we're just going to go and find out what's going on the upload side of things. So there's a drop down on the top left. You filter it for upload, and then there comes the information in front of you. Pretty obvious. In this case, the drop cam traffic is about taking off almost the entirety of the upload bandwidth in the last 24 hours. The total bandwidth, which is shown here, shows an uplink of total 1.9 GB, out of which 1.8 GB is the drop cam traffic. And on the left side chart, it in fact shows you what the traffic consumption looked like every 15 minutes. So it kind of hovered between 26 to 45 megabyte of traffic, which is pretty fantastic and phenomenal in the sense our technology that we have implemented on the access points, the deep packet inspection algorithm, can identify even secure traffic, secure video traffic, for example, even if it's going to CDNs outside of the normal URLs. We do full DPI on the APs that can recognize thousands of applications, and then couple that with smart filters that will allow you to filter out quickly between upload traffic, download traffic, time duration, by SSID, by access point, specific to a venue, level of granularity. All those filters can be used to quickly summarize and get to the core problem that might be happening. In this slide here, we are giving an example of a SMB owner who is an IT manager all at once, does not have access to a laptop or a web UI to be able to make these complicated changes. But if you have a phone in your pocket and you are the owner and you would like to make an offer at lunchtime on the same day, Monday, to your Wi-Fi users who have just logged in, sat down, to actually say, okay, if you buy a sandwich, you'll actually get a coffee free. You could easily do that by opening up your mobile app on your phone, use your thumbprint as a touch ID to log in, edit an existing guest SSID, captive portal edits, make a quick change by inserting a new banner, and grabbing a real picture of your sandwich. You can even use the camera to push the picture onto the captive portal and click save. And then the next guest that logs into your Wi-Fi will be able to see the new captive portal with your ad inserted. So we see that's an excellent way to provide a potentially monetizable option through your guest Wi-Fi service. It doesn't stop there on the mobile app side. I would like to highlight another feature here, specifically for the Ruckus authorized partners, the Big Dog partners, that they can also download the mobile app, the same mobile app that an end customer will download. But when the Ruckus partner logs in with their rwbigdog.com email, the authorized email, if the end customer has invited them to manage their network from the end customer's UI, when the Ruckus partner logs in for the first time, they will be presented with a screen of the list of customers that's available to them to manage. So they will get an initial list. They will click on the name of the customer. Then the next screen they will be actually presented with the number of sites or venues, as we call it, that particular customer has. You can pick an elementary school at that point, which will immediately bring them over to the same screen that the end customer will see. In this particular case, if it's the ABC Community School District that the VAR selected and then selected a site within that customer, it's the exact same UI on that mobile app is what the VAR will see that the end customer sees, and they'll be able to make the exact same changes that the customer wants them to do. And they can quickly click on the top heading to be able to change the customer 1 to customer 2 and change sites as many times as they like, straight from a mobile app. And this is all there in the first release of Ruckus Cloud, and we will be working on this diligently to provide even more enhancements as we get along.
Let's now take a moment to review pricing and stock keeping units for Cloud Wi-Fi. As we discussed earlier, Cloud Wi-Fi is based on the purchase of APs and a subscription, or license, if you will. That is, there is no perpetual license option, just the management subscription. The way it works is that the end user purchases one subscription for each access point deployed and chooses a term, either 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years for that subscription. In addition to the management, that subscription also includes 24/7 support, that is phone, email, and chat. So no additional support SKUs are required in the purchase of Cloud Wi-Fi. Now, as mentioned earlier, what's not included in the management license is, of course, the access points. Those must be purchased separately. With regards to AP replacement, the purchase price of the access point includes the standard Ruckus access point warranty, and in that context, APs must be returned to the factory for warranty replacement. The purchase price of an access point does not automatically include advanced replacement. That's something that the customer would need to purchase separately. The SKUs and list prices are shown at the upper right. There are a total of 4 SKUs, 3 SKUs for 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year subscription durations, and then 1 SLED-specific SKU that has a 5-year duration. The list prices are shown, but be sure to check with your Ruckus reseller for the latest pricing. These are the same APs that we reviewed in an earlier slide, providing a little bit more detail. There are several SKUs associated with the range of unleashed APs, starting with the entry-level 802.11ac R310 at the left side of the screen, all the way up to the high-performance R710 802.11ac Wave 2 access point, and then the all-outdoor T300. Prices and SKUs are shown. The X's indicate different SKU variants depending upon country. As always, for the latest pricing, be sure to consult your Ruckus reseller. Let's talk about choosing the right Ruckus product, and in particular, the right Ruckus controller architecture for any given customer. With the introduction of Cloud Wi-Fi, Ruckus now offers every controller architecture, beginning with the most simple plug-and-play architecture, a controllerless architecture that's in the Ruckus Unleashed product. Of course, we've just talked about the Cloud Wi-Fi product and its capabilities. In addition, Ruckus offers 2 different controller-based architectures. One is a physical controller appliance, and that's available in a range of Smart Zone and Zone Director products. And Ruckus also offers a virtual Smart Zone product to allow end customers to deploy the controller within their data center or private cloud. Both of these options offer a high degree of granular control and are especially suitable for that muscular IT organization we introduced at the beginning of the presentation. There's no one particular way to determine the exact right product for a particular use case or scenario, but this slide provides some guidelines as to what to look for. On the far left, keep in mind that Unleashed is intended for single-site deployments for lean IT organizations for up to a maximum of 25 access points. The ideal customer for Unleashed values plug and play above all else and may be sensitive to price. As we move out of the single-site scenario on the left side of the page into multi-site scenarios on the right, the scale capability of both Cloud Wi-Fi and the controller-based architectures of Zone Director and Smart Zone mean that they can each be used in several different multi-site scenarios. That means the deciding factor for using each of these types of architectures comes down to a different set of questions. For the controller architectures, Zone Director and Smart Zone, the customers are more likely to be those muscular IT departments that value granular control. Also, many organizations may have a philosophical requirement or a policy requirement to own infrastructure. On the other hand, Cloud Wi-Fi customers are more likely to be lean IT organizations and, importantly, have a propensity to use cloud. Cloud, of course, is quite common in any number of applications across all organizations, be it marketing, sales, accounting, finance, operations. So organizations that make heavy use of cloud services today may naturally want to make use of cloud-managed wireless LAN. And as noted during the presentation, the best Cloud Wi-Fi customers are probably going to value simplicity above other factors. Now let's take a moment to summarize everything that we've covered in this presentation. Cloud Wi-Fi can best be described as cloud simplicity meets better Wi-Fi. Let's cover the topics that we've covered over the past half hour or so. First, what is Cloud Wi-Fi? As we've learned, Cloud Wi-Fi is wireless LAN management as a service. The value proposition of Cloud Wi-Fi for the IT department can best be summarized as move faster, do more, and get kudos. And of course, that's a reference to both the simplicity and the great user experience that comes with Cloud Wi-Fi. Next, the pricing model. It's own your APs and subscribe to cloud management. Simple. Who's it for? As we've discussed, Cloud Wi-Fi is best for organizations with lean IT and multiple sites. The needs Cloud Wi-Fi addresses include poor user experience and the lack of time, the lack of staff, and/or the lack of training within an IT organization. Key features of Cloud Wi-Fi include an intent-driven user interface, a mobile app, guest and wireless LAN services, and reporting and analytics. And finally, the key benefits for Cloud Wi-Fi include a great user experience, speed, simplicity, scalability, and investment protection.